"This is the saddest rapist I've ever seen." When he was insulting a beautiful nurse, he suddenly turned around and died on the spot. The doctor rushed to the scene. He thought he was dead because he was too excited. But after the autopsy, he found that the skin under the man's lower abdomen was black. It is obvious that he died of poisoning. At this time, the insulted nurse suddenly shyly pointed to herself and said, "I put the poison in his lower body." As soon as this was said, all the police and the doctor were stunned. How could there be such a way of poisoning? However, with the doctor's examination of the nurse, the result was that the poison was found in the key parts, such as her lower body and chest. In other words, the man was indeed poisoned to death by the nurse. At this conclusion, the police immediately killed the woman on purpose and arrested her. The nurse's name is Kuya. She is an intern nurse who has just graduated. She is not only beautiful but also very hardworking and often works overtime. However, on June 18th, Kuya went home alone. As she was walking home, a strong man suddenly appeared from behind. He grabbed Kuya's neck and then raised his hand up and down, not waiting for her to scream for help. The man took out a 40-meter dagger and put it on Kuya's neck. "If you don't want to die, be obedient." The strong desire to survive made Kuya give up resistance. Whatever the man wants her to do, she can only do it obediently. However, this is not over yet. In the process of murder, the man even took out his phone and took a fierce photo of Kuya, which was recorded for 180 seconds. After the incident, the man threatened Kuya not to call the police, otherwise he would post the video on the internet and let it become the learning material of the fat house. Although Kuya was very angry, she knew how important a woman's reputation was. And she was not married yet. How could she get married? When she thought of this, she could only break her teeth and swallow her heart. However, her endurance did not change for the better. After the man found out that Kuya had not called the police, the Saint mode had just ended and was lurking in the black alley. When Kuya passed by after work, he pushed her again and threatened her with a video. Kuya had no choice but to cooperate. After this, Kuya completely collapsed, but she still dared not bet on her reputation to call the police. It can be thought of that if the bandit insults herself again next time, what should she do? Is this video going to be eaten by rapists for the rest of her life? So far, there may only be one way, that is to kill her. But she is a weak woman and a man in a high wall. So she imitated the scene in the movie and then applied a poison to her body with her professional knowledge. This poison has no effect on the skin, but if you eat a little bit, you will die of heart failure. In this way, Kuya will apply the poison to her private parts and chest every day and then go to work as usual. As expected, a few days later, the bandit stopped Kuya again in the dark alley and threatened her with a video as before. Kuya had no resistance this time and let the man violate her. However, 3 minutes later, the strong bandit suddenly felt unwell and fell to the ground, shaking all over, and his mouth was white. Kuya quickly called 110. When the police arrived, the man was already dead. After all this, Kuya thought she would be safe and sound, but when the family of the rapist found out, they immediately sued Kuya and accused her of deliberately killing people and demanded compensation of 1 million. Kuya became a murderer as a victim of these rapes. Fortunately, the police and the court unanimously believe that Kuya applied poison to her private parts and body in order to protect herself from being violated. By the way, I would like to mention that according to Article 20 of the Criminal Code, anyone who commits violent acts that seriously endanger the safety of others, such as rape, murder, robbery, does not belong to the law and does not need to bear legal responsibility. Therefore, Kuya was released on the spot.